Here we go. Intro time. Hello and welcome to another day of StarLadder Season 6. It is day number 19 already, and we are having 4 matchups today. And of course with me is a team of 2, and that makes us a team of 3. We are, of course, providing you with all the coverage that you need. We have got K-poptosis once again as our stats man. He'll be giving you all the insights of the game. And of course you won't see him or hear him, but you only hear what he does, or see what he does rather, because you'll hear Vykromond, because he is my co-caster for today. Welcome back.
It's great to be back, Sheever. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yes.
Good.
My internet should be forever fixed, according to my ISP.
Nice.
Yes.
Did you speak to them about the disconnects that you were having earlier?
I had a total of 4 people coming by my house since last week, Monday.
Ow.
And then one said it was this one, and then the other said, no, it is this. And then the other one said, oh, well, no, what they said is all wrong. What you need to do is this. And in the end, someone said, well, looks like you have fixed your own problem.
10 seconds remaining.
That's really funny. Were these all from the same company, too?
Yes. I mean, it's one ISP. I just have one ISP. So, yeah. But yeah, KP versus zRage. I'm kind of curious to see how these two teams do. I mean, they had some different results over the last few days. We've seen zRage doing really well. We've also seen them being a bit mediocre. Same thing can be said for KP, who are once again, of course, without Arteezy, who is in high school, so cannot be joining KP for StarLadder matches during the week. So we have Garter again standing in for KP as their solo mid, most likely. We, of course, also have got the patch in place, so that will make it a bit different than what you're maybe used to. If you didn't watch games yesterday, then you'll see some changes today in the way of how people think, how people draft, and what they draft, of course, as well. So far, though, not really that much difference. Wisp, Batrider, Gyrocopter, Lifestealer, the 4 first bans that we see from the teams. We have zRage with the first pick. They drafted Darkseer and Bane, Dragonite and Chen for KP, Jig Hero, Keep Prophet Light, Nature's Prophet, and all the Nature Heroes, also Lone Druid, banned out by zRage. And there is your first unorthodox pick. Doom.
So Doombringer comes out, and I was about to say, usually what happens early on in a new format, this is true for games that aren't just Dota, but it's true in Dota as well. What usually teams start to do after some very large change like this patch, is do what worked before, maybe with a couple minor tweaks. So you hear, Doom is buffed, maybe we'll slot Doom in more. He's already a hero that maybe we were considering because of how strong he is against other carries, how, the utility of his ultimate. And we hear that he got a buff, so we can slot him into a lineup that we were already using. But this Dragon Knight Chen, maybe these aren't usually picked so highly, but they're fairly typical picks currently. You can put the Dragon Knight mid, you can put the Chen in the jungle. Dragon Knight, of course, now can take his level 2 ultimate at level 11 and still have the same pushing utility from the level 1. So between Dragon Knight and Chen, you actually have very, very good pushing capability throughout sort of the mid game.
Yeah, and Dragon Knight most likely in that mid lane indeed. We have seen Eternal Envy playing a bit different carries lately. Dragon Knight, I don't think I've seen him play that before. We saw him playing Lone Druid, for example, yesterday. And yeah, zRage thinking about their next pick. One thing that I find interesting to note is that yesterday we saw a trend of people wanting to, if you join the lobby first for StarLadder, you get a choice. Do you want to have first pick, or do you want to choose who picks first, or do you want to choose which side you're on? So yesterday we saw a shift. Normally everybody wants first pick. Yesterday everybody wanted Dire, and even when someone chose Dire, the other one, of course, got to choose if he wanted first pick or second pick. He went for second pick. And that's a shift that we've seen. But today it is actually the same thing as normal. It is zRage that chose first pick. And KP, therefore, I think in a bit of a good situation, because they've got actually 2 first picks after two banning phases. and they can select 2 of their core heroes out of the first pool, of course, after having only
Yeah.
1 pickup from
10
zRage.
remaining.
What I actually, that's a very interesting
5
pattern
seconds
actually,
remaining.
because when I was speaking to people about the patch, one opinion I usually heard was that what it is, it basically smooths the advantage both of first pick and last pick. So I've heard that people think that last pick is a little less important in this banning regime than it is in the previous regime, but that's also true for first pick. First pick gets you a little bit less now than it used to if you want first pick.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, Dire. Still Dire. With that control of the map. Just slightly ahead. Is what people want. We have a Vengeful Spirit pick up. We saw her a lot yesterday as well as a support. She did get a quite substantial buff in her survivability. So she starts with more strength. And her strength growth is also increased. We have a Visage who we have already seen as an upcoming support, or just a strong support before the patch was hit as well, and Kunkka who just got buffed, but also before that was already a common pick, as zRage is looking to go for a full house by the core status.
10 seconds.
Oh,
remaining.
sorry, what did you say? I missed what you said.
zRage wants to have a full house. They have 2 blue, 2
5
purple. They
seconds
need 1 blue or 1 purple and they have a full house.
That's what I thought you said, and I was like, wait, what? So they actually, I wonder if Kaipi just, they choose to ban Void, and that actually leaves zRage open to do quite a bit of different things. One thing that we haven't seen, but teams have done, is actually use Visage as the pseudo farmer in the bottom lane, and they can draft up a Shadow Demon here, giving them that very, very strong Kunkka Shadow Demon Visage chain. Now, this basically makes Kunkka your primary farmer, but it actually is extremely dangerous as far as being able to kill people on Kaipi's team very, very quickly.
10
Keep in
seconds
mind,
remaining.
Doom, we are probably going to see Eternal Envy on this character, but even though patch notes have given him too much armor, he still has very low armor, and so Kunkka, oh no, they go for something much more aggressive. Phantom Lancer for Inquisitor and Sharfik on the Kunkka. Sharfik is a more developed Kunkka player, in my opinion. Like, he has just better aim on the Torrent and the Boat from what we've seen when both of these players have played him. So I do like that they put Inquisitor on the more classic carry. The nerfed classic carry, of course.
The nerfed classic carry. Well,
So
it's
Kaipi
buffed.
really lack for AoE, though, is the thing. They really don't have
Prepare
much
for
other
battle.
than... Really, Dragon Breath is the only thing that's going to clear out illusions. So usually we talk about PL only getting control very late. We could actually see if this PL gets some survivability on the illusions. He could take over the game earlier than you typically see.
Could you reconnect to the Skype call? Because sometimes your voice is kind of robot-y. It's not
Sure.
really annoying though. I mean,
No problem.
everybody still understands what you say, but
Yeah. That's cool.
I'll go over zRage in the meantime, because of course they will be playing on the Radiant side for this game. We have got Inquisitor playing the Phantom Lancer, who'll probably be on the safe lane, with then Sharfik playing the Kunkka in the mid lane. Hakon is on the Darkseer this game, going to the off lane / hiding in the jungle to get some farm there. We have got Medved playing the Bane, and Android P playing the Visage as the last one for zRage, as they're trying to just
30
scout out
seconds
what
to battle.
KP is actually doing. Didn't really get that far though, but I think we're gonna maybe see 2 dual lanes, with the Bane, of course, also providing that setup that Vykromond was talking about earlier in terms of getting the Torrent after the Nightmare. So we might see that dual lane coming off from them, but we'll find out soon. He doesn't even need a dual lane in the mid, as already pointed out. Dragonite probably mid should at least be surviving against that. Maybe not that much killing potential, but you don't really care about that at this stage of the game.
The
as
battle begins.
You just want farm. Are you back? I don't think he's back. Well, then I will tell you that you can vote. Do you want to vote zRage? It is !vote Z or !vote KP. If you want to be joining in, or yeah, in the vote, you can do that just in the chat of the Twitch chat. Vykromond, are you back?
Yes, hi.
Cool. Yes, that sounds way better.
Great.
Awesome.
Did you already-
I left KP to introduce for you. That's the
Oh,
only-
nice. That's very nice of you. Thank you. So we've got Garter, this stand-in that's been playing for Kaipi quite a bit. Usually we've seen him on Magnus, but here he'll pilot up the Dragon Knight in the mid. And of course, Dragon Knight, quite strong hero, even stronger now. Meanwhile, in the off lane, Bone 7, and we gotta talk about this, he's using the Clockwork Dance Party technique. He actually misses the second one, but that's alright. And then up in the jungle, Come With Me on the Chen, and he's supporting Eternal Envy on the Doombringer, along with Pyladai on the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, and Come With Me just smoked up. He's looking for a way in. He has only got a Hellboar Smasher, though, or Hellbear Smasher rather, so he can only slow down the Kunkka. And even though That is nice. You have to get that Dragon Tail in, otherwise you can't really go in. But maybe Garter finds an opening, as they're of course both melee heroes, so you can just find that opening because it's not too strange that they're sitting next to each other. And now with the Torrent on cooldown, that could actually be the one to wait for, but come with me, be very patient here and not yet making a move. Maybe waiting for that bottle for Garter, as his bottle is now full.
Probably. It would be ideal if he had come over when Dragon Knight was actually 3 for 2 ranks of Dragon Breath, but yeah, I don't think he can do it here.
Exactly.
Sharfik just backs off.
You need to actually get in range for that Dragon Tail, and yeah, the Clap wouldn't offer that entirely.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sharfik will be safe. There's a Dragon Tail, but right now, come with me, already gone. That was, by the way, all the mana that Garter had left, so a bit of an awkward stun there.
Yeah, not really necessary. It did earn him maybe a couple extra last hits, but he's bottle crowing, or rather he's bottle walking courier for now because they don't have a flying. But he might be able to get a rune, so he is able to do a little bit of control, enough to stay in this lane. Overall, I would say Kunkka is going to be fairly substantially favored this lane, and I think that's why Come With Me felt the pressure to rotate over, even without an ideal Chen creep.
Yeah, and that would be better if he had a Troll Warlord, but for now he continues his farm. He actually turned level 2 just now, so needs to spend some time at that as well. Can't all go roaming and try to get kills, because otherwise he'll just get too far behind. And they need that mech, they need that Hand of God, because zRage, I mean, as you already pointed out, they don't need to really wait until the Phantom Lancer is really big. They could start pushing earlier, and that will be very tricky to deal with for KP, because Doom needs a bit of time to farm, Dragon Knight needs a bit of time to farm. And if you're gonna make sure that you're done before those two, then you are in a very good position. As Inquisitor is sitting on 11 for 2, not doing too well for himself, to be fair. He is outfarmed by the Kunkka mid as well as by the Doom, his counterpart, of course, farming on the top lane. Even though he has free farm, so quite surprising that. That's just the creep control that Bone 7 offers that makes it possible for him.
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk really quickly about this Clockwork Dance Party tactic, because I don't think a lot of people know about this. Take a look at what Bone 7 is doing here. As the creep wave comes in, he traps 2 or 3 creeps in a set of cogs right at this position. Then
I see your pings.
Oh, cool. I think they finally fixed that. I've been asking them to fix it for like weeks. So he puts a set of cogs here, then he blows up the rightmost cog, which means that the only place that those creeps can go is into this alley in the jungle, and they have no way to escape. And what this does is it's a refinement of the usual Clockwork tactic of cogging in the creeps for 5 seconds to bring the lane closer to you. What it does is it causes the wave with those extra creeps, when he lets them out, to push directly into the tower and die very quickly, which means the wave after comes back to his tower. The first time we saw this was actually in a Southeast Asian game. I can't remember who it was the GEST finals, Myth Trust versus Orange, and they actually used a dual lane where Clockwork put every single creep into the dance party alley, and then they had 7 waves of creeps going and killing the tier 1 tower.
Ouch. Yeah, that is a quite painful full strategy, if it indeed works, if you get all those, as we saw that Bone 7 has managed to get 2 there a couple of times, but not really more than that.
Well, he's actually doing it on purpose, because he doesn't have a second person in this lane to keep his tier 1 tower alive, so he can't afford to make a too big dance party. It has to be a very exclusive dance party.
Those are the best ones normally, so...
They certainly are.
Yeah, we do see that KP is the most favored team here in this matchup at 75%. That's actually quite a lot going their way. zRage, though, I have to give it to them. I mean, they're a strong team as well, and we've seen them perform very well up against the teams in StarLadder so far. So I'm kind of thinking that it would be a bit more even than that, but hey, the public has spoken. Who am I to dispute that, right? So far, no first blood yet on the board. We did see another smoke up coming up from zRage, but Medved, as well as Android, couldn't really get in range of the Dragon Knight also to shut him down. I mean, both these mid heroes are so tough to kill because they're very tanky. You can't just have one lockdown and then take him down with that. No, you need to have more than that. And so far, the real roaming support is not on zRage, it is on KP, as we actually have Doom. What are you doing, Eternal Envy? He actually will die.
I think it was intentional, maybe?
Has to be.
He did just buy out, but... Oh, I think it actually may have been an intentional suicide because he knows that he doesn't have access to the courier and maybe he really wants boots. Because the Garter is going to really struggle in this lane unless he pretty much has control of the courier 100% of the time. So if you want to pick up items, you either need a second courier or you actually need to send yourself to Fountain.
Interesting to note that Doom has the highest win rate of heroes played with more than 10 games played, sitting at 63%. That's really high.
That's very good. Still not the highest sample size in terms of how many actual games.
Yeah, of course.
The dance party failed there. He blocked in 3 creeps, but 2 of them refused to go to the club. We have not seen the last of this dance party technique. A lot of people have been saying it's actually going to get patched, but we do still have it for now.
Yeah, we'll see how they can actually stop that from happening, though.
There's really, like, what you can do, depending on where they cut it, is you can cut a hole in the trees, so you can basically drill into the back of their club, and then the creeps all escape from the back. But since he's only doing like 2 or 3 creeps at a time, it's not worth like taking huge countermeasures. They're just going to play it normally. The nice thing is, I mean, this means that Clockwork can get levels extremely safely. He's level 5 and he hasn't even come close to dying. He's even gotten boots.
Yeah, and he also harasses, in a way, Inquisitor with it, because due to him being forced to last it under his tower sometimes, I mean, he's only got 34 for 10 last hits, and even though that's not bad, again, Eternal Envy sitting at 42 to 4, and on top of that, Envy has got a Midas and Devour. He will be gaining gold a lot faster, and we see that back in the net worth. Look at that difference. It is more than 100 gold per minute difference between the carry of KP and the carry of zRage.
Yeah, absolutely. In Doombringer, because he went this early, Midas. Actually, they Doom Hakan. I think this is first blood. He only needs 1 more melee. Yeah.
Android not getting the deny and goes for a slow up on Eternal Envy instead. Might be able to do something. Needs a higher soul assumption though, and is actually losing stacks right now. So will not be able to get anything in return. And hey, look at that. Hand of God going through, keeping Garter alive for now, sitting on 19 HP, but Sharvik finishes the job in the mid lane. Bone came in as well. X-Mark spot is there. Sharvik in a lot of trouble actually. Will miss the torrent and the flare comes in. Bone getting himself another kill as his last support here. Tries to run away, gets a surge too, has that Urn Charge on him, no, but he will eat a tango. Should be living through it. And Hakan can't do anything here anymore as Bone gets himself away with the cogs. 2 for 2 overall, with of course the first blood going to KP. But still 2 kills here in the mid lane going the way of zRage. Am I saying that properly?
Mm-hmm. So Doombringer has already a gold advantage over most carries because of the mechanic of Devour, and then when you layer on an extremely early Midas, I mean, he went Midas before Brown Boots in this case. There's just no way that almost any hero not named Alchemist can possibly keep up with the rate that Doom can actually farm that gold up. So Eternal Envy will be very, very rich. Now Doom, I always bring it up when we talk about heroes like Alchemist. He needs extra gold, like he needs higher net worth to keep up with other carry heroes. But in this case, Envy might just be far enough ahead that he actually will be able to do very well.
Yeah, and of course, I was kind of not calculating in the suicide that Envy did earlier, so it was just a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane. And of course, Sharvik coming out a bit ahead, of course, able to get the kill first before he died himself. But still, him dying is not something that you want to have happening, and not ideal in the slightest. We do have him sitting very comfortably on net worth, but also still the Phantom Lancer doing okay. And the Dragonite sitting fairly far behind that, actually. He is a lot behind that. Over 1k gold behind the Kunkka here. And the question remains, when is Envy at the point where he will be joining team fights, and when they will actually start going for team fights instead of trying to go for gank, and when is a team trying to go for more? I mean, even the Phantom Lancer, if you have the Phantom Lancer on your team, you're not going to be too rushed in trying to do things, even though we do now see zRage going for a bit of a push here on this bottom lane.
Yeah, zRage should try to at least push in a tower or 2 to make it harder for KP to reinforce if they go ganking. zRage are in no rush either, because of course they have Phantom Lancer, a hero that really exemplifies not rushing the game. But I don't think KP are really looking for a fight either.
KP will be looking for a fight here on the bottom lane. That is 2 people in the cogs. One already stunned up. Pilot Eye taking a lot of damage as well, though, and will go down. Inquisitor took the tower, took the kill. Double walks himself out of there. A 2-for-1 trade in the end. But 2 supports for 1 support in the tower for your carry. Not even that big of a deal, and they might get more as here comes Garter. Boat flies in as well, comes towards Bone 7. He gets stunned by it. And Garter running himself away while he has that DD rune on. Sharvik does have a bit of extra mana, has got a torrent, needs to land it though, needs to anticipate where he's gonna go, and it looks like they are backing off. Don't want to be trying to go for more as the Dragon Tail hits on an illusion only. Garter just showing his Dragon Rage. But that was actually a pretty decent trade for zRage right there.
Yeah, it was okay. They got the PL away. They did lose 2 players, but they did get the tower. So it's smart of Kaipi to rotate over Bone 7 with a very, very good cogs. But in terms of committing more heavily, neither team wants to commit its entire.
More action coming up. Garter looks to be going down this time for real. Doom comes off and kills off the Visage swap there to try and, well, not really want. Oh, to try and kill off the Bane. Well, that's okay. They will be able to get him now. I mean, yeah, 4 for 1. In the meantime, though, I mean, Inquisitor, he took the kill on the bottom lane on the Vengeful Spirit. He took the last hit on the tower. He now has a defusal, and he has an army of illusions as well. I mean, he is going to start to push down the towers really fast if you leave him alone. He is now having the Broodmother effect.
Yeah, definitely. You can't leave this guy alone for too long, but I don't think they'll plan to. They can rotate quite a few people over. But just keep an eye on the Phantom Lancer, definitely, because as the illusions grow more and more in power, Kaipi are really not that fantastic of an anti-pushing squad. Their AoE abilities are limited to, they can control an AoE space with the cogs, they can clear out some AoE with the Breathe Fire, and Doombringer has Scorched Earth and whatever he can possibly steal from the creeps, which is really not a lot. So the thing about Doombringer here is that he's going to have to hit a timing where he's stronger than the PL to an extent where they actually will be able to just push it and grab high ground. Because I don't see them being able to handle the Phantom Lancer in a very long game, even if... The nice thing about Doom is that it does disable Juxtapose now, so he won't be generating new illusions while he's doomed. But if he comes into a fight with a lot of illusions already, zRage are going to be in good shape.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to Doom. As Come With Me just nicely blocked Sharvik from going in there. I mean, they do take another tier 1 tower down there, and I mean, you just mentioned all the AoE things that KP has, and most of those were from the heroes that you do not want to have standing to defend your base. You want to have those on the map and farming to try and get ahead, try to get something in return for that split pushing Phantom Lancer. And, you know, that's gonna be tough for them. They have only, basically then, if you don't want to put the Dragon Knight or the Doom to that job, you only have the Flare and the Wave of Terror. That's it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, the main thing for Kaipi is just going to be casting Doom on PL as often as possible. The more Dooms they cast on PL in this game, the better shape they'll be in, I feel. Simply because every time they do land that Doom, that PL's dead, pretty much. And so, if they can increase the Doom content and prevent him from hitting his next item after Diffusal, for instance, I think Kaipi will be in very, very good shape. We do see them smoked up, so they're very, very far away from where zRage is. And actually, zRage has 3 smokes as well, so could see something interesting happen.
Yeah, Come With Me in the meantime, getting a very fast mechanism, 3 minutes faster than the average, which is actually quite high, so doing good. Also has Brown Boots, has got 700 gold to boot with that, and they are gonna be trying to kill him off for it. Have got an X mark the spot, will land a torrent though, nicely aimed. Should be giving enough space to kill him off. There goes X mark the spot and the Grave Chill, and that should be a kill going away. Oh wow, that was an awkward soul assumption, but doesn't matter. Come With Me, will still die. Hand of God! No, he drops. Kunkka with the last hit. Fiend's Grip up on Pylite die. As the Darkseer wall even goes down. I don't know why, but they get it anyway. In the meantime, Phantom Lancer gets killed off on the bottom lane though. So they end up trading that one. But they do gain a tier 1 tower top in return for it as well.
Nonetheless, still, Kaipi probably not feeling totally unhappy about that. It's unfortunate to lose your 2 supports, but that was to 4 players, so 4 people's effort caused those support kills. And meanwhile, Doom goes on Phantom Lancer and he dies, which is their #1 goal, is just to kill the Phantom Lancer on every single Doom cooldown.
Yeah, and he now has a Shadow Blade as well, so he can just sneak up on the Phantom Lancer and really take his time to decide which one is actually the real one, and then go for him after he determined that one. So that's indeed something that they'll have to continue doing, because they can't just do it once and then hope, you know, now he's shut down. No, they have to continue keeping him shut down, otherwise their tier 2s will still end up falling. Shadow Blade also up on Sharvik as he finds himself a nice torrent hit up on Eternal Envy, who gets forced out of the jungle. We also have a Vanguard now up on Heiko on the Darkseer on the Radiant side, but we're following KP because they smoked up. Pylite die and Bone 7 will be looking for a pickoff.
Absolutely. This is actually a pretty... If you have to pick up Vanguard any game, this is not a bad game to pick it up, and simply because Kaipi's damage is really limited to just the auto attacks of the Dragon Knight as he tries to rush towards level 16 for the Frost, some auto attacks from Envy, and then some AoE magic damage as well. But I think it will really improve Darkseer's living capability to have this Vanguard in this game.
Oh, the hook goes in up on the Bane, and the stun there as well. Should be putting Bane out of play straight away. Here comes a Bodin though, Android still alive, and with that run buff might be able to stay a bit longer alive, but he goes down, but as does the Doom, as does Bone 7. Double kill ready for that Phantom Lancer, and Garner trying to run, gets vacuumed back in. Still Parlay die from the sidelines, trying to do what he can with those magic missiles, but that is not going to be helping out way too long, or a lot longer, as Come With Me comes in with the mechanism helping out, as Phantom Lancer still gets the Dragon Knight. Hakon getting locked inside a net. Sharfik coming in once more, trying to go for those nice hard-hitting splashes. Does help out, and in the end, it is Visage's Familiar that gets the kill up on the Chen, and only one stays alive through all that. It is Parlay Die, Vengeful Spirit, with no casualties whatsoever on zRage. That was a very good fight for them, and a bit of an awkward fight for KP. By
They did lose the Bane, I believe. It's just that he has a 28-second respawn, so...
He was the initial target for Bone 7.
He was the initial target, yeah. I actually thought that Kaipi's initiation was not bad, that fight. But it didn't seem like everybody was on the same page as far as taking a fight there. I think Bone 7 got hype on the Clockwork, and everyone else was just like, oh wait, we're fighting? So they managed to kill the Bane, but a fight in which Doom doesn't even use Doom, and Phantom Lancer is there, so in the end, just not really using all of their relevant teamfight abilities to actually secure a win in that fight. And that is bad news, because Phantom Lancer got a triple kill, finished a Yasha with that.
Yeah, and we look at the net worth, and there goes the Doom up by Sharfik this time. KP, they want to fight, want to take down that Kunkka, but there's a Fiend's Grip up on Doom, holding him in place for now. Nice vacuum. In the meantime, Darkseer is the first one to go down. Even after that Hand of God will make sure that KP can take this fight a bit longer if they can. Doom gets sent back home. There goes still a kill for the Dragon Knight up on the Bane. Boat sails in, stuns up on 2 Soul Assumption, doesn't kill off more people though, but here comes Inquisitor. He still has a bit of mana. He wants to go for the Dragon Knight. Kunkka with the double kill in the end because he came back. Or actually, he didn't actually leave. Now he leaves in a body bag, that is. Inquisitor still picks up the Vengeful Spirit this time. Has Come With Me, gets a Diffusal Charge as well, and will end up dropping as one more last hit will do the job, and only one got out safe, and he is actually going down as well. He actually got sent back home. Came back to die. Still, and only the Kunkka is the one that goes down this time for zRage. Right? Did someone buy back? No.
No, nobody bought back. zRage have just completely torn this game open, and I really think Kaipi did not have the timing to actually fight. Both of these fights have come when Dragon Knight has next to no net worth. He just got his level 11 ultimate in the middle of that fight, so he brought no AoE to it. Envy really only has Shadowblade and Plate Mail, and you really need your Doom to be farther ahead. I think in some respects this game has just been kind of a victim of the fact that I really think as a carry, I think Envy's actually a very good player, but he really likes Midas, and I'm not sure that Midas was the right call here, because we talked about it earlier, Sheever, but this is one match in which Phantom Lancer will get much stronger much earlier. Like, you can see Phantom Lancer is already ruling the game because they can't get rid of the illusions. So was it really the right choice for Doombringer to go and item Midas that wasn't going to pay off until, you know, about 5-6 minutes from now? Whereas, I don't know, it just seems like they're losing these fights because they don't quite have enough things on their Doom or their Dragon Knight. Yeah.
They need more time, and as you said, they put themselves in a position where they would require more time. So we have got level 2 Diffusal Blade up on the Phantom Lancer. We did have, by the way, the Darkseer dying and buying back in that game, that fight previously, but yeah, I mean, as you said, KP, they can't really do that much against it. They are looking to do something. They actually smoked up to get here to this bottom lane, and they do not want to go down right now as Inquisitor uses a doppelblock to try and find some targets. He's already one TPing out, and the rest fleeing from the scene. Nice cogs helping out, keeping zRage maybe back. Oh no, there's still a surge. Want to go for it. There goes the Diffusal Charge. Hook shot away, though. Will keep Bone 7 safe.
Very nice hook there by Bone 7, honestly. This is exactly what he needs. And you can see Garter just trying to catch up on those levels by... Now that he has the AoE, he can try to clear out these ancient stacks. But there's really not... It's kind of slim pickings here. A lot of this has been picked clean already. He's up to about level 11, but you can see that's 2 levels behind Sharfik, 5 levels behind Inquisitor, who's just kind of been ruling this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that KP has maybe going a bit for them as well. Their levels are more evenly spread. Even though it's still lower than zRage, we actually have the experience difference in about 4k favor of zRage. But there's 2 supports up on zRage themselves that are still level 8. While the supports of KP are level 9 and level 11, so that's a big difference right there. But so far, with the Phantom team, it doesn't really matter that much, because he is turning into this one-man army that can protect those supports, even if they are level 8. But we'll see also how much difference that will make in the next fight, because it looks like zRage, they're just keeping the pressure on. They know they are ahead right now. And in terms of gold, it is not even that much, it's about 6k, maybe close towards that.
Yeah, they have a Phantom Lancer right now that they know, and Kaipi knows that they have no answers for this PL right now. The only way that they do it is if they can doom him correctly early in a fight. Yeah. And even then you run the risk of Sharfik just continually smashing you. He now has his Chrysalis on top of Shadowblade, so this is already a fairly intimidating Kunkka when he crits.
Yeah, and he's already picked up a Vitality booster also to allow him to survive a bit more. I mean, if he now gets Doom on him, he'll be able to survive through that no problem. As we saw that during the previous fight as well, especially if he doesn't get any extra damage going through. And, yeah, I mean, zRage, they're just looking really strong. They don't have a mechanism, I believe, though. Actually, they do. Never mind me. Visage has one.
In the last fight, they actually, the mechanism was really, really key, because Sharfik lived through the entire Doom, and then they used mechanism to take him back into the fight.
And I mean, that makes a big difference right now. We also, of course, have got the Hand of God and the mechanism up on KP, and that's allowing them also to stay a bit longer in the fight, which in theory should favor them because of the Doom, the Scorched Earth, but it's not really bringing enough right now. And they just shouldn't fight. They are not built to fight. You already mentioned that with the Hand of Midas. You aim for a bit later on in the game, and then they should stick to that and avoid team fights, trying to keep zRage at bay, which is of course a lot harder than it actually sounds, but they do answer with aggression, and they could just retreat saying, you know what, we will give up the tower, but we'll take this in return or something like that.
Very sneaky, Envy sitting in the trees there until Phantom Lancer left, and then I actually thought he'd go for something like a solo gank on PL, but instead he gets the tower, which is actually quite nice for them. But it could be a trade for Roshan. I think Kaipi know. Yeah, they know definitely.
Yeah, the flares came in. The Uxie comes in as well a bit early though to steal the Roshan, so they really want to take this fight. Bone 7 though! Look at that burst! He's already down, but as is the Darkseer from the other side. Dust gets popped. Fiend's Grip was up on Doom. Hand of God going through. KP staying alive for a little bit longer, but that Doom! The Doom is already on the run out. Can't do anything. No more mana because Inquisitor burned it all. Garda getting stunned up by the Visage, running himself home as well, as there is a sent home for the Doom. In the meantime, on the back end, we see that Vengeful Spirit still goes down. Android with the killing spree for him right now, and they forced KP away, only taking a Darkseer as a victim there, and that Doom couldn't do anything. And a Doom was used. Who was it on?
It was on Visage, so that choice is definitely justifiable. Visage has been doing a tremendous amount of teamfight damage, and he has the mechanism. So in theory, you disable usage of the mechanism, and you disable the soul assumptions coming through. Problem is, there's all these great Doom targets, and you can only Doom one. And right now, Dooming one is really not enough for Kaipi to be able to take these fights.
Next change for the Aghanim Scepter for Doom, allowing 2 targets to be multicast!
That's Refresher, right?
Multicast.
Refresher Doom
cool.
is no joke in a long game, actually. It can be a huge game changer.
If you have a Refresher and an Aghanims, you'll be able to Doom 2 people and they just be forced to go away from the fight, because otherwise they'll keep Doom forever.
That's true. That's
fun.
true. Ag's Refresher Doom. Count on it.
Yeah, one thing though, like if you Doom the Visage, I mean that's great, he can do his mech. But the thing about a Visage is that he's actually 2 parts, because you still have the birds, and we saw the birds doing work up against Garda, so even if you take down the main bird, the 2 extra birds will hold on. Oh, hook shot in, they get Hakon. The Iron Shell is there though, trying to help out, and Bone actually in a lot of trouble. Torrent comes in as well, interrupting the TP, and Bone! He just hooked himself into a suicide mission as the Fiend's Grip hits up on the Doom. Swap is there though to help him out. There's a Nightmare in the dust to make sure the Doom stays there, and the mana is gonna get burned. That is another kill going the way of zRage. Took down 2. They still lost a Visage in the end though. That's the one that they got, that KP went for. But getting 2 in return, and more importantly getting a Doom in return, that's like the jackpot right there.
Absolutely. Great pickup by zRage there. Probably an over-enthusiastic. I feel like Bone 7 in general this game on Clockwork. He has had great hook shots, but it's not always clear what they're setting up with those hook shots, and if it's not a successful fight, then the hook shot is kind of almost counterproductive. The one thing that's been great news for Kaipi is that Chen has been having a very good game, so come with me. He had that quick mechanism about 4 minutes faster than the average mechanism timing on Chen. He's actually almost done with his Aghanim Scepter, only about 700 gold off from that as well, and he's sent Envy back to safety several times when he's actually at the fights. Like, he's had an excellent game. And in fact, Come With Me has really, to me, grown as almost, I would say overall, he's Kaipi's most solid player right now, especially when he's on one of his signature heroes like Visage. But just overall, he's played really, really excellently from this 4 role, and I think Kaipi definitely going to structure more play around him in the future.
Yeah, his micro is very great indeed. He's almost finished up Aghanims for this game, so he can spam out those heals a bit more often. Even though the fights are not really lasting long enough for him to really use them twice, because the key heroes would already be backing off or just dead if they're not lucky. But yeah, we'll see how much use he'll get from that as zRage tries to force out another fight. Hookshot misses this time, but the swap is still there, and Medved all of a sudden in the net pops himself in a nightmare though, and a tornado boat coming in onto Garter. He turned on his BKB, but he's fighting against an army of enemy heroes. He can't stand against them. The Fiend's Grip is there. He's held in place, will be sent home by Come With Me, who gave his life for that save. Flare misses Medved almost. The Bane went down, but nobody in the end on zRage actually dropped.
No.
Oh, no, they don't. Never mind.
Among other things, they would have really loved to have this Dragon Knight be level 16 by now. It wouldn't have been easy, but having that Frost Dragon AoE would have been fantastic. With the Fire Dragon, he does okay AoE, but because he went Black King Bar first, he has almost nothing in the way of damage, and so this is what we're talking about. At this point, what do you do to stop these illusions in the absence of Doom on the PL? That's really your only possible tool to stop the illusions.
Yeah, and it looks like zRage is on the way to, you know, prove a lot of people wrong on the chat, as the score was 25% only going the way of zRage from the votes that were in the chat.
Was even more one-sided, if memory serves.
The betting on the sites, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, hookshot in.
Hookshot.
Bone, he wants to make a change, but he hookshotted in on the Visage. Not the easiest target. Get some illusions in there as well. The boat will fly over, but Bone 7 still getting dropped. Doom up on Inquisitor on the real one, actually, but he doesn't seem to care. He gets a Dragon Tail and a Test of Faith, taking a lot of damage, but he just continues going because he has got that Aegis. Will be back up in just no time in the meantime. Those racks are already gone. Looking for a new target. zRage, they're not leaving the base, gets swapped out, and a stun. Medved will be bursted down, Surge is not gonna help, but the Vacuum and the Soul Assumption, Pylai die, looks to be paying for that one. There goes the Soul Assumption, that will clear him out, as Eternal Envy tries to do what he can, tries to run away from Inquisitor, who gets a Surge as well, but will actually surge himself to the Tier 3 tower, because that's where they are.
Envy just moving all over the place. He had the X marks the spot on him. Chen sends him back, and then he gets unsent back by the X. But
nice.
still...
Oh, he actually wanted that. He almost gets a kill. Your Mechanism on Android will help out, but there's a level death. Envy getting a kill. Inquisitor will be going for this Dragon. Dragon won't be able to escape. Mechanism will heal him out. Hand of God as well, but it's not enough. The Dragon, he dies. Bone 7, he was alive again, goes down again as well. Monster kill streak for Inquisitor, as we see Come With Me trying to TP himself out of this situation. Should be able to do it just fine, yes. Envy still hanging around in the Shadow Blade, but with just him, he can't do anything. And I was saying that maybe long fights aren't gonna happen. Well, this was a very long fight.
Unfortunately, having Aegis just checkmates Kaipi here, because they just put the Aegis on the PL, and now you need 2 Dooms, and you only have access to 1. I don't know, so props to zRage, this was a very smart Phantom Lancer pickup. So many teams would have just been like, well, you know, PL's nerfed, his counters got buffed, why would we ever pick this hero, let's not even think about it anymore. But this was almost an ideal PL pickup. You take him 5th, especially in the new ban pick mode, where that 5th pick occurs after every single, like, it's siloed off into its own little section. They knew that Kaipi really lacked for AoE, they lacked for an ability to deal with the Phantom Lancer, and they deployed it in a very, very intelligent way. And Inquisitor just totally controlling this game. Also, I mean, they couldn't get the stand-ins, they couldn't get Garter's net worth up on Dragon Knight. if they had to put Midas on somebody, I almost wish they had done what EG is doing lately and put Dragon Knight safe lane with Midas, just to get him the XP to get to Frost Dragon quickly. I feel like that was their only hope to actually stop the PL high ground push, was get as much AoE as quickly as possible and just concentrate it. And they could Doom is fine mid against Kunkka, honestly. He has low armor, but he has good health regen.
Yeah, and of course with this win for zRage, they move up to an even score, 3-3 in the StarLadder Season VI. KP, they've now got 9 games played with no longer an even score, actually 1 in favor of the losing games, so 4-5 for them. And we will be moving on to the next game in StarLadder Season 6. It is Alliance taking on OSG, and that will be the story of David versus Goliath, because OSG not really doing too well in the Star Series this season. They have made it all the way from the Pro Series, got here, and found that they are really taking a lot on here, so they're not really doing too well, and are now going to be going up against one of the giants of the Western scene. So will not be an easy game for them, but hey, they're underdogs. We root for underdogs. So OSG
Yes.
will be up against Alliance. David versus Goliath coming up next. Stick around for more StarLadder action.